Hey, welcome back to Between the Lines on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We're at Mules National Golf Club today in Warrensburg, part of University of Central Missouri and their outstanding athletics facilities. $4 million worth of improvements to this golf course. You got to come play it. If you live, if you're Lee Summit, you're 35, 40 minutes away, but lots of places in Kansas City, just a short drive to Warrensburg. You can play on the weekends for $32. Check it out at mulesnational.com. They've also got some outstanding football facilities here, as do a lot of programs in the very competitive MIAA. University of Central Missouri head coach Jim Svoboda here to join us to talk a little football. You are ranked in the top 10 preseason high.
What?
Nothing like a little pressure on the Mules this year, right? Nothing like a little pressure.
Who's voting? That's what I want to know, Kevin.
You don't want to hear it, do you? You want to reprove it every year, don't you?
You know, it's nice. Getting some attention's always good, and it's a healthy pressure. But in the end, it's how you play on Saturday, and it's all based on kind of what you did last year, and somebody's expectations, and so it's we just want to get ready for game one right now.
Well, you had a really good team a year ago, went 8-3, and you bring an awful lot of players back from there, including an outstanding quarterback. I know you rack up all kinds of yards on offense. You must be pretty excited to be coaching a group of kids that know so much coming into the season and have that kind of experience, and a quarterback that can play like your guy.
Yeah, it's when the kids have worked together for a year, I mean, there's so much that goes into that chemistry, and then they work out together over the summertime, and they just, when they start to coach themselves and have ideas of their own and all that, and it's a good place to be from that standpoint. And anytime you have your starting quarterback coming back and he was as productive as he was last year and has the leadership qualities that he does, that's also something that in the pros, you got Tom Brady every year. You can look down the road and to have a guy back to back, we frankly haven't had that for a while at Central. It seems like every year we're replacing a guy, and so it's refreshing, exciting to have your returner back.
Garrett Fugate, your quarterback from the Kansas City area, a sensational player. What makes him so good, and how are you able to? I mean, you just throw and rack it up the yardage and throw. Why is he such a great player?
Well, he's really the total package. When he was young, he's a great athlete. He was a 3-sport star at Blue Valley Northwest. He's a great basketball player. He's a 50-flat quarter miler. He's 6'3", 210. He was a skinny. He is now. He was a skinny kid when he showed up. He was a $185, and that's the D2. We got to see those guys. That's what we have to do in D2 is see the potential in a guy. But he's a great all-around athlete. And early on, my first part of the tenure here, we threw it a lot because we felt like we had to with the complexion of our offensive line. You got to have some bruisers in this league to run the football. And so, in the end, you want to score a lot of points. And so I felt like for the, first 2 or 3 years, throwing was going to be our best way to do that. Well, in reality, I like to be balanced. We don't like to – we had the national record for passing yards in a season for a while, and that's not necessarily my ambition. My ambition is to be balanced and be legit in running and throwing the ball. And that's what Garrett brings to, our offense. But he's had to develop himself as a passer because he thought he was going to break through as a runner, and we're not going to quit throwing the ball. And so it's much like the Oregon philosophy. They got a mobile quarterback that can hurt you with his legs, but if they have to pass for 400 yards in a game to win, they're confident they can do that too.
How good are the players when you recruit them now, when you get them here? And I know everybody likes to play fast, everybody likes to have offenses that just go. How has this changed? You've been coaching for a long time. How has it changed over the years? How much more prepared are the young men to do this at the college level when they get here compared to what it used to be?
Well, everything it used to everything kind of trickled down from the NFL, and now the creative people actually were probably in the D1s that didn't have all the stuff. They couldn't go out and find the best players, so they were kind of outliers. And then so the tempo stuff kind of came from that sort of genre, and then as it gained more attention, and then you have some of these upstarts beating the bigger programs and all, it's like, well, let's do that too, and now everybody's doing it. And so it trickles down to the high school, and so we have the luxury, I guess, in college. A lot of kids have played in the shotgun, way more than haven't played in the shotgun. If you see a kid under center on a highlight film, it's unusual. Like, hey, come here, look at this. They're still taking snaps under center, running power eye football and stuff. But the NFL, on the other hand, they're not getting as many players trained for their style because they do take a lot of snaps under center, and they do run a lot of, power football, no option football, not a lot of zone read because, you can't have different quarterback every week. And so, it's helped us, and it's exciting for the fans. It's what we try to do is, we're up tempo, but we try to really change the tempo too. I think that's really more difficult for the defense than having them get used to one tempo.
Jim Svoboda is the head coach of the University of Central Missouri Mules, number 10 in the Division II preseason poll, and certainly a player in the MIAA here. It may come down to Central and Northwest Missouri. They're awful good every year. As everyone knows, this can be quite a competitive season in the most competitive league in America, Division II football. No question about that. I mean, just sensational football played in this league. You got a big school here now. There's over 15,000 students at Central Missouri, and enrollment's just going up every year. I mean, this is amazing. This is a very traditional. I like this league because it's college towns. It's about the university. This reminds me so much of what college athletics used to be, and I think it's better. Not every kid has a complete full ride. You're not writing checks for $20,000 and giving them cash to go spend. There's a lot I like about the MIAA and Division II. What does your football program mean to this community, and what are game days like? What is Central Missouri football?
Well, we've actually won awards for our game day atmosphere, and so us and Pitt are typically in the top 5 in the country in Division II in attendance. We were 4th and they were 3rd last year, and so we get great support. It's way better being in a smaller town and sort of being the focus of attention and being their team and all that. Even Missouri's such a football crazy state. The Chiefs aren't that far away. Mizzou's not that far away. KU's not that far away, and yet we still have a local community here that really loves this brand of football. I think they get it. Of course, as long as Jerry Hughes has been here, they've been good in everything, so they know what they're going to. They know they're going to see a quality product when they come to the game, whatever sport they go to, and so it's cool to go to the little shops, the restaurants, and see your posters up, and Mule and Jenny Backers, and of course, as you mentioned, the MIAA, it's getting to be a little bit of an arms race with the facilities. On one hand, that's, it's very competitive and you feel like you got to keep up. On the other hand, when you recruit a kid, it's like not only do we have great facilities, the places we play have good facilities too. So it's it's a good quality league to be in. So the fact that we're in the MIAA helps us from a recruiting standpoint. And of course, none of that happens unless you have a president that, kind of gets it. He's, you mentioned the Division II philosophy. That's what we're all about here. We have enough students. We could be very competitive in FCS conference. There's no question about that. But then it just spreads everything thin, and you don't have a national championship in the other sports. You have one in football, but now basketball's got to beat Duke to win a national championship. So we love it. You can give a kid a scholarship. It's a great competitive level. We're in a supportive community where it feels big time, and that's what it's all about. In the end, we want to win a championship. We want him to, get his degree and go out there and be a productive human.
Jim Svoboda is the head football coach at UCM. We're in Warrensburg today, and I don't know who makes your schedule, but you're opening on a Thursday night at Pittsburgh State. Who's in charge? Where's Jerry? Did he do that? That's the league telling you.
He tried. He tried.
Jerry go running on this thing, or what? The league mandate does it? How do you open on a Thursday night at Pittsburgh State?
Well, for 4 years, we've probably had the toughest opening schedule, and then when they changed the schedule this year, they took your back 2 teams and put them at the front of the schedule. So for us, that was Pitt and Fort Hays, who obviously, Pitt's got national championships under their belt, and Fort Hays has been in the postseason. Game 3, Mo West, they've been in the postseason. Emporia has been in the postseason. And then, for a capper, Game 5 in Arrowhead, we play the defending national champs.
Well, that's where we'll wrap it up here. Northwest Missouri at Arrowhead on October 1st. This is a big moment for Central. It's your first time playing at Arrowhead Stadium, and gosh, you got a lot of games to play between now and then. So I don't want to build too much into that game. And there's a playoff system in Division II that you clearly can go out and lose a game or two this year and make it into the playoffs and win a national title, which is great. But there must be motivation during the offseason for every one of your players and everyone in the program about Northwest Missouri State in that game at Arrowhead.
Well, it was in the works for a long time, and it's Northwest's home game. And Northwest has some familiarity with it, certainly with Mel Churchma. I was actually a part of the first 2 that were played in Arrowhead in 02 and 03. And ironically, my two starting quarterbacks. One works for me, and one did work for me, and is head coach at Kearney now.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. But we had 29,000 in the first game, in the first ever fall classic, and so. What we want to do is we want that to be a big game. So, to do that, you got to take care of business before that. But it's exciting. We got 30, 40 kids from the Kansas City area. They grew up loving the Chiefs. I've already heard kids say it's a dream come true to be able to play in Arrowhead Stadium. So great for the fans. We obviously got a huge alumni base in the Kansas City area, and it brings that venue brings more attention to Division II. You know about it. A lot of people know about it. Gets more people. It's like, you know what? They came to Arrowhead. I'm going to go to, Warrensburg next year and watch a game. Those, they have good players, and they're well coached and all those things. So it's all good. It's all up. It's all, there's nothing negative about it. And I don't think our guys will look ahead with the schedule I just rattled off to you.
Well, we wish you the best this season. Jim Svoboda is the head coach at UCM. He's got how good are you to come by and be on the air? He's got practice at 3:00.
I got good assistants.
They're going to take care of it. Let's hear for Coach Svoboda. Thank you, sir.
They're probably hoping I don't show up.
go get him, man. Thank
all right,
you so
Kevin,
much for your
thanks
time.
a lot. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Jim Svoboda is the head coach at the University of Central Missouri. Between the Lines continues from Warrensburg right after these messages.